Hello. Thank you for joining us today with the live streams about the sociology and cultural sociology programs at the Faculty of Social Studies. My name is Erin. I am an alumni actually of the Cultural Sociology program, but I now work at the Faculty of Social Studies here at Masaryk University, and I'm originally from the United States. Today, I'm actually joined by Professor Jaworski, who will be talking to us a little bit about the programs, and by Novinta, who's a current student in the Cultural Sociology program. So Nadia, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Nadia Jaworski, and I'm a cultural sociologist. I'm originally from the United States, and I did my PhD work at Yale with Jeffrey Alexander. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about sociology and cultural sociology and some of the differences between the two. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Great. And Novinta, do you want to just say quick words while Nadia is sharing her screen?
Yep. Hello, everybody. My name is Novinta, and I'm originally from Indonesia, if you know the island of Bali, and I'm currently studying cultural sociology and preparing for my thesis, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'll tell you about that later on.
All right, so Nadia, if you would like to get started on your presentation.
Okay, great. So what is sociology? Basically, the study of people is what I tell when someone asks me. That's what I respond. If we look at the etymology of the word, it has to do with companionship or being social, and that's socio, and then ology is about reasoned speech. So you could say it's reasoned speech about companionship. Basically, with sociology, you can study just about anything. As you see by the image that I have here, you could do a sociology of inequality, of globalization, of gender. Some people do more theoretical work and others do more empirical work, doing research. There's also the difference between quantitative work like surveys and experiments, and qualitative work like ethnography and in-depth interviews. So we also have what you could say a sociology of culture, and that would be more thinking about things that you normally think of as culture, like fine arts, traditional national cultures, and things like that. But what we want to do, and you'll learn if you come to our program, much more about the differences between the sociology of culture and cultural sociology. So what exactly do we mean by cultural sociology versus sociology of culture? Well, our main motto is that meaning matters. Cultural sociology is a study of how people make meanings. So some people, some sociological theorists think that modernity has brought us into an age of rationality, and we would argue as cultural sociologists that we aren't nearly as rational as modernity paints us to be, that people make meaning. They're constantly making meaning. That's not something that died out when traditional eras stopped. So when you say people make meaning, we want to understand how they understand, basically. And what can you study? I'm going to give you some examples. For example, you could do a cultural sociology of football. We have a professor at Adim Marada who does study cultural sociology of football, and he explores all the meanings around football in terms of spectators, in terms of players, how people understand football. Another example is we had a student a few years ago that did a master's thesis on Latin social dances, saying in love for one dance, intimacy boundaries in the social Latin dances. That's more what you think of when you think of culture. You think of things like that, like I said, or national cultures or religion. But you can also extend the study of a cultural sociology to be of politics, for example. We have a student who's now one of our PhD students, and her master's thesis was Performing Performance, a cultural sociological approach to humor and satire in politics. And what she did was she studied, it's not exactly a fictional candidate because it was a real person, as you can see in the image, but it was somebody who was pretending to run for president. And the name was Belly. And Belly ran this campaign and ended up getting 10% of the votes as a non-real candidate. So she studied how his use of humor and satire attracted people to voting for him and for him to do that well in the presidential election. In my own work, I study immigration, and I wrote a book called The Boundaries of Belonging, in which I looked at the social media presence or the online work of immigration-related social movement organizations. So I looked at the immigrant rights movement and the immigration control movement in the United States and how they mobilize online through their websites, through Facebook, Twitter, other social media. So those are just some of the things that you might study. I wanted to give you a flavor. And so our master's program, either in sociology or cultural sociology, you do 3 semesters of coursework, and the final semester is devoted almost entirely to your thesis writing. So we've designed it to offer you a rich sociological education and offering incentives for students to pursue their own personal interests. So when you write a thesis in cooperation with a supervisor, you decide what you're going to write about. So you can really explore and do a sociology or a cultural sociology of just about anything. And now I'm going to turn it over to Novinta, who's going to tell you a little bit from a student's perspective.
Thank you very much, Prof. Jaworski. So when I was living in Bali, I was doing social media, and then I was looking for a master's degree in Europe, and then I stumbled upon this program at Masaryk University, and then wow, cultural sociology. So I'm really, really into culture, like different cultures. So, okay, so this is something that I want to study. And then when I started my first semester, cultural sociology is actually like bigger and better than what I thought it would be. It is something stronger and thicker, and I am more able to explore a lot of new things, and it's very related to my bachelor degree in philosophy. And I am currently doing my master, preparing for my master thesis about statelessness and citizenship. And I'm currently developing cultural sociology of statelessness. So what I'm doing is I am interviewing several Indonesian diaspora who is now living in the Czech Republic for over 6 decades. And I find it really enjoyable and really eye-opening. So just like what Prof. Nadia said, you can basically study or research about anything, including, for example, branding or marketing, social media, or about nationality, basically anything that you're interested in.
Great. Thank you both for the overview of the program in general, Nadia, and then also Novinta for you to explain a little bit more about what it's like as a student. I think we can take some questions maybe that we have in the chat. But if anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to write them. So I guess this is probably a best question for Nadia to answer. How big are the classes, and are there mostly Czech students in the classes?
Well, this is what I love about the program, is that I have a mixture of Czech students, international students, and exchange students. So I would say it's about half Czech students or Czech and Slovak students, because we have a lot of students from Slovakia, and about half international and exchange students. And some of our classes are quite intimate, like 6 to 8 people, and other classes can go up to maybe 18 to 20, but that would be the very most. So master's classes are held more or less in a seminar style, where the teacher will lecture typically for just a little while, and then we'll have a discussion period. And we get some great discussions because we have people from all over the world in one classroom.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a bonus and something that was nice when I was in the program that I enjoyed. So we can go to the another question. Let me just bring it up right now from Katya. Nadia, I think this is a great question for you to answer.
Oh yes, okay. You've studied with Jeffrey Alexander at Yale. This program is very appropriate in that regard because we have a relationship with the department at Yale. We have a Center for Cultural Sociology as well. And we also have something new, a Center for Cultural Sociology of Migration. So we have meetings of these centers where we get together and discuss draft papers that members may have, students or professors. And I think that if you studied sociology at Yale, you'll find this a very natural continuation. And we have faculty, professors that, like myself, who hew pretty closely to Alexander's strong program in cultural sociology, and people who do a little bit more wide-ranging perspectives on it. But the bottom line is that meaning matters.
Yeah, for sure. I think this next question is definitely maybe interesting for those who are trying to decide between one of the two programs. So Nadia, maybe if you could discuss how, if it's possible to kind of switch between the two.
Yes, it's possible because it's a matter of re-enrolling, and you get credit for all the classes you've already completed in one program or the other. And some of the compulsory classes are for both programs, for both sociology and cultural sociology, like general theory classes, research methodology, and of course you would see, really we consider the, excuse me, the cohort to be all together, cultural sociology and sociology. So you'll see students from both programs in many of your classes.
Great. And then we have another one again from Katerina. What do graduates of the sociology department do? I can maybe address a little bit, and then Nadia, you can maybe talk in the more general of what other graduates of the sociology department are doing, and maybe Novinta, you can close this up if with what you're hoping to do once you graduate. But I know Novinta kind of addressed this already, actually, when she was talking about how many connections she sees in cultural sociology to other things that she does, particularly in marketing and stuff. And my role at the Faculty of Social Studies and at Masaryk University larger is really to work with international students to make them feel more comfortable, and then also to help promote the programs in general. And I think what the cultural sociology program shows is how important it is to understand the deeper layers and everything that we are immersed in as a society. So whether that is how we get communication or in what forms that communication comes from, it has definitely helped me be able to put the lessons that I learned of interpretation from the classes into my professional life, of not continuing with academia, because continuing with academia, while many of my friends have done that and they're going to excel greatly in it, is definitely not the path forward for me. So Nadia, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I think that a path in academia is certainly just one of the options. If you go for a master's, you'll have more qualifications than with just a bachelor's degree. And I think you can specialize in marketing, in research. You could do research for a think tank or for different organizations. You might be involved in doing surveys in your research, or different kind of interviewing if you do qualitative work. But if you do choose an academic career, what's nice is that you can continue after your master's and get a PhD at Masaryk as well. And that would prepare you for an eventual academic career. And you have several professors that specialize in cultural sociology, so that you can get different kind of perspectives on what some of the offerings are. Like I study migration. We have somebody else who studies urban spaces and memory. And like I mentioned, one of the professors studies football, sociology of football, generations and memory. So we have a lot of variety that you can choose from.
So in my side, so I have friends who studied cultural sociology, and they are now network analysts, customer specialists, and what I will be pursuing after graduation is probably branding and marketing, because it's highly related. If you already heard from Professor Jaworski that it's about meaning making, meaning matters. So it's super related to branding and marketing. And right now, for example, we have been learning about the branding in sociology and how I can relate that to my future career.
Yeah, thank you so much, Navinta, for that. I think it's always helpful when people can describe what they actually plan to do and what they hope to do. So I think that that seems like that's the extent of our questions. But if anyone has any questions moving forward, we hope that you go to our website, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, or you can email admission@fss.muni.cz. Nadia, do you have any closing out words that you'd like to say, though?
I just want to say, if you do explore the website at Sociology Department, please feel that you can write to professors with any questions you might have. I'm always glad to hear from prospective students, and I know other professors are as well. So you can ask any questions you have that are more academic, and obviously the admissions office would be more for the logistics of it.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for your time, and feel free to contact us with anything else that you might have.